Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez loves socialism and is a Democratic congressional nominee, but, well, it's safe to say former Democratic VP nominee Joe Lieberman, he's not loving her. The former senator penning an op-ed in today's Wall Street Journal urging voters to reject her candidacy for New York's 14th congressional district and go with incumbent Joe Crowley on a different ticket in the general election come November. Senator Lieberman joins me now. And by the way, we did call and reach out to Ocasio-Cortez, and so far, no reply. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be with you, Charles.
You've shaken some things up here with this vote for Crowley for the working families op-ed. What was the main, because you've mentioned several different issues that you have with this candidate, but what was the main driver? Was there some sort of tipping point that made you say, I've got to speak out?
Well, the main point really is this. I mean, part of it may be personal. I lost the Democratic primary in 2006 in Connecticut, ran as an independent, and thanks to God and the people of Connecticut, I got reelected. But really the point was, what's the Democratic Party going to be? I'm still a Democrat. And when I see somebody who really says she's a socialist, she's a very charismatic, captivating candidate, but when you look at the policies, those are not policies that will be supported in very many places across America. And if her win makes her into what Kellyanne Conway called the new face of the Democratic Party is not going to have a very bright future.
But do you feel that she represents the younger voter within the Democratic Party? I mean, the socialists have made big efforts over the years in colleges, and now they've penetrated high schools.
Yeah.
When you poll young people, they feel, to a large degree, I've seen polls where they feel more confident about a socialist system than a capitalist system. That might just be the side effects of being such a successful country rather.
Right.
But is the Democratic Party overlooking something that's going on? Because Bernie Sanders sort of pricked this, if you will, but it feels like it's growing pretty rapidly.
Well, you're asking a lot of important questions. So I'd say that there are certain policies that may win in some districts like this one, in a Democratic primary, but they're not going to win in a general election statewide, certainly not in our national election for president. So if the victory of Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is in Bronx and Queens is taken as the direction in which the Democratic Party should go nationally, the Democratic Party is not going to elect a president in 2020.
I can see it going there in a lot of places like California.
I agree.
Another issue you took, another area that in your op-ed you pointed out was her ideas about Israel. I want to share with the audience some of her thoughts and then come back to you.
You used the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue.
All right, so she's kind of regurgitating things that she might have heard on a college campus. I mean, she's 26 years old, but it's dangerous rhetoric that she's sharing there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as I said in the column in the Wall Street Journal today, she didn't talk too much about foreign policy during the campaign. She obviously, by her own acknowledgement, doesn't know that much about foreign policy. But when she did talk about it, it was from the Democratic Socialist Organization policy book. And, you know, it's very pro-socialist around the world.
Anti-Israel.
Well, a lot of it is anti. And when I put it this way, it's too quick to criticize Israel. So she, during the campaign, actually said at one point that the Israeli action to defend against the massing of troops on the border in Gaza by Hamas was a massacre. She called it a massacre. That's very hot language and not fair.
Real quick, there was another article in the New York Magazine, and I think this is going to be a problem for the Democratic Party, and I hate to say it, but I think it's from decades of politics of identity, where they say that yeah, you did the same thing, or you went, but this district is 81% minority. And they're saying that your op-ed was the worst thing that could have happened for the Democratic Party, more or less, the worst thing that Joe Crowley could do. And essentially, you could see seeping into this the issue of of establishment versus non-establishment, and also the politics of race starting to seep into this thing. And I think this could be a big issue. It wasn't long ago also when Maxine Waters accused the leaders of the Democratic Party of being racist.
Well, that's just not fair. I mean, my opposition to Ms. Ocasio-Cortez has nothing to do with her ethnicity, gender, race, anything else. It has to do with her policies. I mean, the Democratic Party is full of Hispanic Americans, African Americans who take positions that I totally support, and I wish they were at the leadership of the parties.